Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So LR, Kale, and Caulifla are coming to global Dokkan. Now Kale and Caulifla, they are interesting in that they do have strong potential. I think this is a character that can look fairly good. They can look fairly powerful. The problem with Kale and Caulifla is that they still have the same sort of slow build-up, right? That's kind of the thing. Really, their kit did not change almost at all from what their original kit sort of was, right? They got one extra line when your HP is below 66%. They can get a little bit of extra attack and defense and an additional. But functionally, they're the same unit as they were prior to their EZA. Now, they're very weak at the start of the fight. They can become pretty good, even against Omega Shenron, the toughest fight in the game. They can get pretty good as the fight goes on. Now, the good thing for them, and for Kale, right, so we're on LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku's team right here. Both Kale and Caulifla are on the 200% leader skill, so we can just do this, right? The thing about this is that once we get to turn 4, Kale could just very easily go in slot 1, and then Kale and Caulifla could be in slot 2, and we are good to go. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and cut right here. We'll come back to Kale and Caulifla's turn. We'll let them start building up, stacking up, and see how impressive Kale and Caulifla can look. Alright, so here we are. We got LR, Kale, and Caulifla. Not exactly the craziest turn for them, you know, sort of like links-wise and stuff like that. We'll be able to get Super Saiyan Prepare for Battle and Fierce Battle activated. They do work incredibly well next to Dokkan Fest Kale, of course. So their link set is Super Saiyan, Battlefield Diva, Warriors of Universe 6, Tournament of Power, Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power is what they're rocking with. Remember that they are building up every time that they super attack and attack, right? They build up Ki, Dodge, as they are doing attacks, right? So it's like right here at the start, we weren't even able to get our 18 key super attack, but I mean, that's not really going to be too big of a deal for us. I jumped into an event where we'd be able to at least see them get their additionals against Universal Survival Saga or a Pure Saiyan category enemy. This is an Infinite Dragon Ball History stage. Might be a little bit too weak, but we'll be able to see them sort of build up. Now remember, Kale and Caulifla can do their first super. They have an additional that has a high chance to be a super. They get an additional that's a 70% chance to be a super when HP is below 66%, which we didn't have active. Then they get, of course, an additional super against the Universal Survival Saga enemy, and an additional super against a Pure Saiyan enemy. Now remember, this TN right here is not Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan, so they didn't have any additional extra supers right there. I would say that I do like Kale and Caulifla. I think that they are a fairly effective character. I just wish that they were a little bit stronger at the start, right? One major issue for Kale and for Universe 6 in general is that all Universe 6 characters share the same weakness, which is that they're very weak at the start of the fight, and then they build up. Kale and Caulifla are no exception to that. In my experience using this character, I do have them typically get tossed up. They get blasted early on. It could take a couple of turns to build them up. You feel a real difference with this character when you're under the 66% HP and you get the extra 66% of stats and the additional that has a great chance to be a super. You really do feel that. Like, it makes a big difference for this character. And dodge is so important for Kale and Caulifla because their defense just doesn't get to an acceptable level quick enough. We supered, what, 2 times last turn? And we're at 329. 329 is unrunnably bad. It's that they aren't getting, like, a multiplicative buff, like, oh, they, you know, get 50%, you know, defense on their passive on super attack or something like that. Like, it's just the raw extra stats. So dodge is pretty crucial for them. Now, again, the one thing that is pretty good is once you get to turn 4, we could transform into Super Saiyan 2 Kale, and then Super Saiyan 2 Kale plus Kale and Caulifla make a pretty good rotation for sure. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on here. So what are we at right here? So we're at 329 again. Let's continue to have Kale and Caulifla sort of build up. Remember, Kale and Caulifla, the way they work is they do stack defense with every super attack they do, 12 key and 18 key. They are just going to continue to stack up. They also do lower attack on their 18 key, which can be helpful. Again, Omega Shenron, I think, is sort of like the good example to use. He can be debuffed, and that, of course, can be very good to be able to get that debuff, of course, against Omega Shenron with Kale and Caulifla. Now, we also would slowly build up, or they get 30% attack on their 12-key super attack as well, which it can be handy for them to do extra damage, but again, pretty much the major portion of this character is running them in slot 2 with Kale in slot 1, and then just, you know, hoping you get enough attacks that their defense can stack up. Potentially they could tank normals, and then hopefully you'll be able to dodge any super attacks that might be aimed at them. Alright, continuing on here, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. So, damn, you see, they're only up to 390. How many super attacks have we gotten with them? I'm just going to rock them in slot 1. We are in an Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, so we should... I mean, bro, we're in an Infinite Dragon Ball History stage. They should be fine. Obviously, it'll be a bad look for them if they're not. Now, this Android 18, of course, is actually a Tournament of Power character, so they're going to get their extra additional. Got a couple of dodges in, which is nice. Again, remember, basically the thing is that they're there to assist Kale. Remember that Dokkan Fest Kale, she needs a Universe 6 character next to her in order to basically have a lot of aspects of her passive, right? Guaranteed guard and stuff like that. So you do have to get a Universe 6 character next to Kale, and this LR Kale and Caulifla is the one that we would want to do it with. Alright, so they're not really looking super crazy, I guess. Remember that Kale and Caulifla, they do get attack as well. It's 10% attack per Universe 6 Join Forces or Pure Saiyan category ally in the team. Now, we have quite a few of those, right? Join Forces, Pure Saiyan, Universe 6. Remember that that does stack. So if your entire team is Universe 6 Join Forces Pure Saiyan characters, right, you will be getting 30% attack per each character, right? That's the way it works for this Kale and Caulifla, which is kind of... It's one of those things that was like, when we realized that back when this character came out, it's like, oh my god, like, how busted are they that it works like that, where all of their abilities, like, kind of have, like, that stacking, right? Like, you know, they get the additional super against a Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan category enemy, but it's not an either or, it's for literally both. They get additional super against both. Alright, here we go. Now the girls should be able to go absolutely crazy, right? They're up to 576, so now we're starting to get to a better spot, like on turn 8-ish. Although, I mean, again, like, that's fine. But remember, I mean, Omega, to really be tanking his normals, it's like you need to be more so talking like the 700k plus range, right? But that's why Kale and Caulifla's dodge is so valuable. Let me double check their build in a second. I did give them quite a bit of dodge because, I mean, that's... so many attacks aimed at them, it is going to be crucial that they dodge. Again, it's not 2019 anymore. Their kit is a 2019 character's kit, right? Like, it's just they had one line added to it. Dokkan was very clearly not interested in making this character as ridiculously busted as they once were, right? So they still do have kind of like the same... It's like they have very similar limitations that they had before their EZA. It's just now their stats are a little bit more in line with sort of like modern sort of like characters and stuff like that, right? All right, we'll come back next turn and we'll see what their defensive ability is looking like. All right, so deep into the fight here. what is our defense looking like? So now they're at 823. Again, with this team, I did want to sort of simulate, like, this is like a realistic team that we would take against Omega. Like, I'm going to do a video taking Kale and Caulifla into Omega. I haven't done them yet. And, like, honestly, like, this exact team is probably what we're going to be bringing, like Kale and Caulifla for, right? So, all right, let's, we can go ahead and put Kale in slot 1 right here. Let's go ahead and see, again, sort of like the numbers and stuff like that Kale and Caulifla will give us. So let me know what you guys think of EZA, LR, Kale, and Caulifla. This, of course, is going to be them with all 7 links activated. I do think that they are a good unit. Like, are they good or bad? They're definitely good. I just wish that they would have been made a little bit less reliant on that. It's the one line in their passive. Oh, Kale might just kill them outright. But it's the one line in their passive where when HP is under, it's 66%, right? When their HP is under 66%, they get the extra 66% of stats, and the additional that is a 90% chance, they get the additional as a 70% chance to super, right? Like, if that is something that they had access to all the time, I do think that they would be quite a stronger unit, right? That's kind of, I guess, sort of like the real big thing. Now they don't really, like, stack attack or anything like that. Let me just hop into one quick run, and let's just see sort of what Kale and Caulifla's damage looks like, I guess, on sort of like a more heavily juiced setup for Kale, or for Kale and Caulifla, right? Where we've got, like, full Universe 6 and girls and stuff like that. Alrighty, so this is sort of what, like, the juice team for LR, Kale, and Caulifla would look like, right? Obviously, you know, I do have all these characters and their SSRs and TURs, stuff like that, rainbowed, so this is going to be Kale and Caulifla with way more attack than we saw before. We're going to have 5 out of 7 links activated. Remember, Kale doesn't get Super Saiyan until she actually transforms, right? Also, yeah, definitely notice Kale and Caulifla's just starting key right there, right? Here, let me just go ahead and pop this real quick. We'll get them the 24 key just so we can see what their damage looks like. We'll do this turn, and then we'll do one more next turn as well, where we'll get the Super Saiyan link activated and see what Kale and Caulifla look like right here. But this kind of gives you guys, I think, a pretty realistic look at what Kale and Caulifla's capabilities are. Again, I think they're a good unit, but they have heavy downsides, and they're just so weak early on. It's very annoying sometimes, right? Kale sometimes and the Universe 6 have the same issues that, like, Super Trunks and Andros Cell Saga has, where, like, both of those teams are structured in such a way where, you know, when you're on, like, turn 10 or something like that, you're probably going to be looking really good. But it's like turn 1 to 5, that's where things can be a little bit more dangerous and a little bit more of sort of an issue to work through. Oh, okay, we're good, we're good. Yeah, my cord is really on its last legs. I ordered another, like, it was like an official brand of the cord. 8 million is all they get up to? Okay. It was like an official brand of the cord, but it wasn't the typical one I get, right? So I'm going to see if that's going to sort of look a little bit better, right? And, like, if it's going to work. I really, that same cord I've gotten over the years, like, I'm tired. I'm done with it. It's just, like, these cords are just so shitty. So I'm trying to find an alternative. I'm still so frustrated. The one sort of, like, off-brand one. Notice how their 12 key damage has slowly gone up. That's the 30% attack for one turn we're getting there. But I got an off-brand one, which was very sturdy, which I was looking for, but unfortunately, the picture, like, the quality, like, it was laggy, like, it was just awful looking footage. So, all right, we'll get one more turn with Kale and Caulifla, and then we'll finish up here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at what we are going to be rocking from Kale and Caulifla. So, of course, we got the full juice setup here, and then, of course, we're going to have 6 out of 7 links activated. All right, so let's go ahead and see what LR, Kale, and Caulifla do for us. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the EZA, LR, Kale, and Caulifla. Again, a strong unit that definitely does, unfortunately, have some weaknesses. This unit was so far ahead of the rest of the game when they first came out. It really does not surprise me that the devs gave it very weak EZA. I would anticipate like a similar fate for like Tech Ultimate Gohan. I can't imagine his EZA will be very strong. A character like maybe like AGL Pycon, right? Like these characters that have sort of like hung around. I mean, when they do get their EZAs, they're probably going to be so minuscule they'll make the character a little bit more formidable, but it's nothing that's going to really massively buff them, which I think is what we saw, right, with LR killing Caulifla. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.